Hi guys, welcome back to GamePod, the Sandpit sessions. We're at day 2 of Pocket Gamer Dubai. I'm your host Farhan, with my co-host Ivan.
Yeah, nice to meet you.
And today we're interviewing Muslih. He's the founder of Starvania Games.
I'm a co-founder of Starvania Studios.
Yeah, tell us a bit more about yourself, Muslih.
My name is Muslih Alzahrani, industrial engineer, graduated 2021. It's also when we started working with the game development even more, and I met a couple of friends I've worked with during some accelerators happening in Saudi. It's when we founded Starvania, and we continued working on the studio.
So thanks for coming with us on our session on day 2, and and congrats. So Muslih and Starvania was announced as a winner of the PGC MENA Games Award on a category the best game startup. So congrats, and pretty impressive for if you say you started 2021. It was when the Starvania was also founded, or it was actually even a bit later?
So we founded Starvania 2022 on April something.
Mm-hmm.
So when we started, me and a couple of friends playing around, joining some accelerators, doing it sometime full times, and then we need to do some part time, etc. And then we got funded by Neom City. By an accelerator called the Neom Level Up program, also run by DigiPen Institute of Technology. It's when it got more serious, and then we give Starvania more interest and more focus, and then we gradually increased the team members. Like we were 3-4 people, and now we're 10 to 11 people.
Wow.
Yeah.
Nice.
Muslih, did you did you find the company based on the fact that you thought that you would get backing from the Saudi Arabian government? For example, do you think it's something you could have done 5 years ago?
Well, I could have started it, yes.
Yeah.
Would I know where to go? Maybe not. But I'm definitely going to start it because there's a community. We know there is a community. We know there's people. And we also have the capabilities. We know, I'm not saying that we are the best, but we are passionate and we want to do this, and definitely we're going to do it regardless of whoever says so. So that's when we saw Saudi's booming with accelerators and programs, and we entered a program called Game Changers, happened in 2021, run by MCIT, Ministry of Communication. And also, it was run by DigiPen Institute of Technology. It was more than a year worth of program, and they educate you about the game development in multiple tracks, etc. And it's where we, me and my co-founder Mi'ad, initially started Starvania. She's like the CEO. She's focused more on the business stuff, and I'm more focused on the games and creative side of the team and the games. So that's the exact point when we started, and many other studios boomed. 2 years ago, Saudi had at most, I think, personal research, I think 6 studios, and they weren't that known, and they're secretly. So I think some of them are doing it, but they need more attention. So 6 right now, we're more than 50 studios in Saudi, startups, and they're. And you saw most of them today, and there's a lot of Saudi studios that were in the event today. They all have great games, and the people are great as well. I wish them all the best as well. Yeah.
So thank you very much for the intro. It's again super fascinating to hear actually story of an insider get to it. But maybe let's back up a bit and tell us a bit about, because as you mentioned, obviously the kind of infrastructure and ecosystem started getting sense, and it was one of the enablers that I guess you managed to accelerate what you were doing. And so on, but as you mentioned, you would do games regardless. It's your passion. So maybe tell us a bit about how did you, a bit about yourself. How did you decide to pursue this career? Which again, considering the number, how probably it's not something that every Saudi student is going for. So how do you
So
get to it?
it's really personal. But for me, when I started it was from a younger age. My parents used to buy me educational games, right? So for mathematics, etc. And I really loved studying just because of those games. They were kind of my motivator. But these sort of educational games do end at a certain age. At that point, my educational levels went down because I wasn't motivated anymore.
So was it gamified enough?
Oh, come on, I don't want to do it for grades. I want to do it to have fun. So at that point, I decided, okay, so I'm gonna create my own educational games if no one is else gonna make them. So I started making educational games for since like middle school, going all the way to high school, and then also in my educational in the university, I made some VR games for the mechanical engineering workshops, etc. Also, when I graduated, I joined. As I said, I continued my development. I gave my parents my degree, like the engineering degree. Okay, I'm gonna now pursue my real degree. I think everyone starts the same way. Many in the Saudi, because the education is still not focused on the gaming. So people do tend to learn on their own, and they want to make the game using their degree and what they want to make later on in games, etc. And I think it's going well. But the education, I believe that Saudis right now focused on that. They're doing a lot of accelerators, but at the same time they are working on the educational part, preparing it for the later generations as well.
Muslih, did you consider doing educational games as a focus for your company, Starvania?
So Starvania is really we are making fantasy games, and it's for entertainment focused, but we do work with some entities as side stuff. We do a lot of companies or ministries or entities come to us and okay, we want this solution, give us some consultation, for example, or would you help us, or you have worked on it, or you have the experience, enough experience to tell us or point us at the right direction. And we do tend to help them all the time. And we do educational for teenagers, etc. We help them to make games, at least at the younger age, so that they know, okay, so you have tried this before, do you like it? Because making games is not as playing them. So, okay, now you know how to make games, and you know how it is to make games. Would you like to pursue it later on? So we are preparing them later on. So once the education part of the universities is growing and it's ready with Saudi, they can pursue it.
So thank you very much for these insights, and especially because also the one part is, as you said, one part is a passion, and I think what is also noting, you were kind of developing and preparing yourself since your teenage years for this career. So I guess it's something of a passion of yours, but also co-founding a studio is one thing, following a passion, but it's also business, right? So as you mentioned, currently the Starvania, you grew the team, which was both thanks to the Accelerator and the investment support, which is primarily government oriented, that is specifically focused on that. And on the other side, as you mentioned that you're doing consulting or some work for hire for different institutions locally. If you can maybe it's a bit from the point of basically entrepreneur in the region in gaming, which again you're kind of became one of the pioneers, because still you say in 2021-22 there was about 6 studios and Starvania was one of them. You're literally
we started after them, but it boomed.
You're with the first wave of this kind of a boom that supported by Accelerator. So maybe talk us a bit about more like from a entrepreneur perspective, finding as you mentioned, the co-founder, the team itself. Is it all local talent? Is mostly from the university or during some community meetups? Do you find a good talent in certain roles, and maybe you like some other talent in some other roles? And also maybe talk a bit about more besides the funding and the work for hire. What is the status of the of the games that you're currently mostly focused on as your own IP, and what do you expect the business model of the studio how to evolve?
So Starvania we're doing fantasy universes. We are trying to create our own IP games. Currently, we're working on our first commercial game. It's called Bahamut and the Waqwaq Tree. Basically, we started it like by the end of Game Changers program run by DigiPen. And we were like a couple of people working on it. It was on and off project, but we saw that it has potential. People telling us, okay, I want to play this. I want to see more of this. Which is when we started giving it more attention into joining many accelerators to support us in the business, also to support us working on the game more. And then I think it's when we joined Neom Level Up program by Neom City and also DigiPen. And there was a lot of funding, and they supported us with the funding, with they provided a lot of mentors and mentorship in many aspects, like financials. I don't know how to run financials, so they provided us with mentors in the financials, for example, and we had to hire someone working in the financials to help us in this, so we can focus more on the game. It's when we grew from 4 people now to 10, 11, 12. And we had to, so we were like missing some of the positions that we needed more experienced people. And we went looking in the region. We found a couple, but we want people also not to have the experience, but also fit my team. So we found a couple that is within the region, different countries, and then we went outside the region. We got people from Germany, we got people from Pakistan, for example, also France, London, etc. So we got those positions filled during Neom Level Up with their mentorship, their help. They supported us finding those talents, and then we gave Bahamut and the Waqwaq Tree more focus, and it's ready. And you guys, I think, tried it today on
yes.
on the event. Yeah. So it's in a good position. We're still working on it, and we're getting into those events together, like wish lists, and also to find publishers. Currently, we're looking for publishers for the game to help us port it and localize it, also to get into the market better than I think we are doing. So yeah, that's how we're doing
that's
right now.
awesome that you've got the international talent that they're being provided from your accelerator programs. I just want to get a bit more information on how hard was it to get into the Neom Develop and DigiPen, and what kind of advice can you give to young Saudi indie developers who want to kind of follow the lead and also get involved in these accelerator programs?
Yep. So really, you gotta step up. Like they really see that you're trying and you're passionate and you're realistic. So people, not in Saudi, I think many other countries as well, they don't do it baby steps or like slow and steady. They it's my first day doing games. I'm gonna make a AAA game, or I'm gonna make the next Call
World
of
of Warcraft.
Yeah. It takes a lot of time, right? It takes not a lot of time as in development. It takes a lot of failures, and they don't want to fail or whatever. Make something small, then scale it over time. So just be reasonable with your skills, and then they will see that in you. And you need to be coachable. You need to take advice. You need to see other failures and why they failed. You need to fix yourself. And these accelerators, they look into you, like they consider those things, and they look at you specifically at those points. And then you gotta be more ready. So it's a readiness. They take those people who are more ready, or if you have like something you worked on, they look at it. Okay, this is good. Would you be able to fix this to join? So any different accelerators have different requirements or needs depending on the scope of the accelerator. But yeah, for Neom Level Up, they need people that are more ready, that have joined other accelerators before, and they want to take it to the next step. So yeah.
Thank you for this. Thank you for these insights. I personally, when I was visiting Riyadh for the pop-up Riyadh investment conference, we met with quite a few people from the industry, especially from the MISC Foundation that is actually obviously have a lot of different areas they focus on, but something which caught my attention, and I personally like also as an entrepreneur with my current startup Superscale, we were we benefited very heavily from Accelerator. It was a non-equity accelerator that was in Helsinki, which in the Europe, especially in the mobile gaming, it's still the capital there. And I think it was a great experience, and especially from the point of view you have many accelerators that, or there was this big wave some time ago, especially in Europe, but I guess everywhere in the world, where you have this kind of a equity-based accelerator where for a very dubious benefit you need to give up quite a bit of equity and actually will maybe even decrease the prospects of raising the future rounds. And something that caught my attention from what I understood, there are get a lot of benefits and without taking equity, and which is available not only for local startup, but also basically what's considered local. It could be and also some of them are you need to be in person. Some of them are running hybrid or even remote programs. And also there's a big interest in some form of a more international team, international presence, or even foreign companies outside the region that establish their trade license locally and could apply. So maybe from as you have some experience, can you maybe comment a bit more about why did you? So you mentioned the Neom accelerator you invited. Did you just apply for others, or did you also basically went through some others? Were they equity, non-equity? Were there hybrid, in-person, remote? Were there also some only local or international startups? If you can tell a bit more, how do you see this evolving?
It's very interesting because when we started the Neom Level Up Accelerator, we were the first batch group. So it was a bit different, and they're like right now doing the second batch, and I believe they would do more and more others after this. And I think later on it could be something for not only locals, so it could be global people coming in, and they say, because at the end of the day Neom want other countries to relocate there, right? They want other studios to relocate, and they are doing a gaming hub in Neom, so you want studios, global studios there, and these studios can also join the program and they get funding, and then but obviously they might have different contracts, right? So in each studio got a different contract based on your negotiation. Maybe they would take or they would give you options to take equity, or maybe not, but you need to pay them back. Or so it really depends on your skills of negotiation, I'd say. and how so obviously they would consider if you're a lot of risk, they would give a lot, ask for a lot more things. But if they are safe, if you're a safe investment, they would you can negotiate better. So you gotta play on your strength, I guess. But at the time we were at the point where we were more of a pioneer. So we're on a safe side with you guys. So. But right now they are changing their terms based on and still you can still negotiate, but they're changing their terms each time, or you can. But at the end of the day, I think it's a really good program to apply to, and I got a good advice from one of the mentors was like, don't say no to yourself. Like let us say no to you. So apply. I mean, you haven't lost anything yet. So
Neom Level Up, that's one of your accelerators. And for viewers who don't know, Neom is the new city being built in Saudi Arabia. So as part of that, and you said they're probably going to look at more international talent. They want the international developers to be based in their city as part of like Saudi 2030. So is part of the accelerator, is it also like some kind of contractual term that you'll also set up in Neom when it's built? Is that kind of part of it, or is it too far away for them to say, okay, you need to be there?
So I think it is, because you need to, they ask for you to relocate, but they're reasonable about it. Like they wouldn't say, okay, so we're opening tomorrow and we need to relocate right away, right? They don't want
take your bags.
They are flexible in terms of this, and they would give you notice for some time, and you can also negotiate and say like, okay, so if I relocate in a year from now, it's not going to work out for my business. I'm going to need an extra 6 months, for example. And then, okay, well, you can talk to them. They're the best guys and ever I worked with. And I went to Neom, so I saw it and I saw how it is. I saw the offices, and also they showed us temporarily studios they were having there. It was so nice.
But this is absolutely something that maybe we should spend a bit of time, because it's definitely unheard of. Unheard of
I don't think,
concept anywhere else in the world, right? That's so, and also there's and again coming back from somebody who personally is interested and try to find the information. There's basically none. There's a bunch of random buzzwords. So as somebody who's went through the Accelerator, this is the stuff. Any impressions that you can share with us and with the audience, and especially looking at being a pioneer on the first batch, but looking at let's say whatever 3 to 4, 5, 10 years from now, how do you see the whole industry ecosystem in the Saudi and the wider region evolve, and how does maybe Neom play the part of it?
So I really see that it's growing rapidly.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only comment I would or thing that I would really focus on is having more publishers looking at the region, taking more risk, because there's a lot of developers out there and there's a lot of studios right now that they need their games out there, and if they're doing self-publishing games, and it sometimes goes misheard of or not looked at by even globally. So I think publishers can do some risk here, and a couple came already, like Kuali, they came to the industry, and they're working with Saudi studios, and they saw the talents. And even if the studio or publishers or studios relocating to Saudi, there's a lot of talent to pick from, or to even relocating some of the talents from outside to here, and then locals do work with them. I think that's still a good way to go, especially with the opportunities that the Saudi is now providing. So and the ecosystem is rapidly growing huge, and I think 10 years from now, Saudi is gonna be one of the main hubs to attract locals and global people.
Where is your studio currently based? Are you remote for now, or are you actually on site in Neom, or are you sit in Riyadh?
So we're located in Riyadh mainly, at least the founders. And then we have most of the team in Riyadh, and then the others are located all around the globe, working with us remotely. And we're meeting from time to time at certain events like this one happening now to try to meet the team if we can. And then we're planning to relocate what the time is right and the studio is a good place. We want to relocate from Riyadh to Neom when it's launching. Yeah.
And what's Neom like? Just before we move on to the next question, what's Neom like? Like the viewers, I'm sure, are very excited to find out more. What's your experience? You said you got to go there. What is it like, and what do you think it's going to be like?
So Neom is very big, right?
Yeah.
They have multi areas around it, and then I got to visit the media village, where they have all the medias, for the gaming studios and the film industry, etc. And I saw the props they're doing to shoot the movies and to shoot the it's amazing. I saw Dune the other day, and it's why didn't they shoot it at Neom? It's the exact same place, and it's even better with the weather and everything. It's great. And I saw it going to Neom and then going back. So even their area around Neom city is good to shoot. And the props they have and the setup, it's just all ready. And I think Neom would always be interested to getting those movies. And I think they shot already a few series there that they're still announcing. I wasn't able to take any pictures when I went there, but my mind was blown. My mind was blown.
Okay, so it's not like you couldn't. It's just you didn't have time to process and also record it. Okay. Okay, so this is super interesting. I would definitely maybe ask a bit more, because as you mentioned, so the ask is so you see there's a lot of talent, there's a community, there's actually not just access to money, but actually to the coaching, to the mentorship, to that like really added value support hands-on from the accelerators, especially like Neom, but I guess there's quite a few more that's are expanding and providing a lot of terms. But regarding, as you mentioned, you're sure the core team and the founders are in Riyadh, benefiting from the local infrastructure, but you still need to fill some more senior positions outside. So you're kind of a remote. You need to build out the remote. So two things you said that definitely getting more publishers and partners from the West interested in the region. Yep. So maybe you can discuss. You already mentioned there are 50+ studios. We've seen the batch that came out of Neom. So for publishers or the Western executives that's looking in the region, the usual question is like, hey, can you share a bit more about split between PC console, premium mobile, we've seen quite a few, which I think still the Saudi and especially with the Saudi group and so on are more known on their mobile side than on PC console, but we've seen many promising titles, including also on that side. What's it like that? Second, for people who are interested in the region and potentially want to work, whether remotely or even on site studios, what are the organizations? Where to find the studio? Is there some community? There are some meetups. Is there a website? Where can somebody learn a bit more? If you could share.
About Savi, I think right now they are also, aside from the mobile studio, they are also building their own console PC division. And I saw their hiring posts on LinkedIn, etc. So that's very exciting because they're now divisioning and discovering other divisions. Also means hiring locals, training them with talents that are coming from abroad. That's very interesting. And for the what was the second question? I think so the hiring for
so if you could maybe your estimates out of these 50 studios and so on, like how many of them are, let's say, mobile first, how many of them are maybe PC console first, and how do you see the dynamics? Is it is it 50-50 or more to the mobile, more to the PC console side? Anything you could share?
So I really don't know the percentage, but I can share them with you later on. However, I think it's relatively close to 50-50. Like a lot of people
on both sides are interested into
and many studios are willing. So it's really we're very flexible, and if I have a game that would, if you tell me as a publisher your PC game would do better on a mobile, I wouldn't mind port it if you help me out. Right. So
and are the accelerators, are they backing more mobile or PC console, or is it kind of very much open?
It's open to any opportunity that they get their hands into and that you're willing to work on. So they're flexible with you, but you need to come, as I said again, ready. So I have this game. I did the market research. It's gonna do good on mobile. Would you accept it? And then they would evaluate it with you and then tell you, okay, it's good, maybe, but also consider this, and then you would say, then you gather the team and then you guys work together on porting or whatever works for your team.
Yes, and on the second part of the question, and this is great. So ultimately, it's spreading all around. There's not like some very very strict emphasis on either of those. But let's say is there some sort of gaming association that kind of groups the studio? So again, coming back from whether a publisher or somebody or investor interested in the region would find a place where he could see the list of studios, interact with the community. Where do you think it's the best?
I think there is the IGDA association that's happening mostly monthly. It's gathering all the locals in an event, and they're discussing some news or bringing some talents from abroad or opportunities that are coming from outside or inside, or at some professional experiences from the locals or from global. And there's many other group of people like Saudi GN. It's called Saudi Game News. They do have a Discord server with a lot of community people individually and studios, and they tend to share all the news that is happening in Saudi with the gaming related.
Is it also in English?
I'm not entirely sure, but I think that can be like easily distributed. Yeah, and to find like as you asked, to how about if someone global wants a local like or a job or to work on the region, where do I look at? I think LinkedIn is like booming in many studios. Like if you go for Starvania Studio, I'm gonna market for my studio, but like if you go to Starvania Studio on LinkedIn and then you go to the job posting or the posts, we post occasionally if we have any positioning, or you can, I mean, we even hired some people when we didn't have even positioning, right? We didn't open anything, and like people sent us an email like, okay, you guys, you're working on this game, Bahamut and the Waqwaq Tree. I think my art style work with your art style, and have a look, I can fix this for your game. We hired her immediately, and she's from outside. Yeah,
perfect.
I mean, it was like we like those kind of people that come in and they're like, okay, they're not looking just for work. I want to make something that matters, and we want to join the Saudi because you guys are passionate. We can see that your games are, you're putting your culture in the game, because we don't want someone coming from outside and then doing our culture in their games, because they would just make it like any other game. We know our culture better, so we would like to have our touch or let's say decision making on those games as well.
Speaking of putting the culture into the games,
yeah.
When you build your game, and I've seen the game, it is very culturally specific, which it's cool because that hasn't really been done, because there hasn't obviously been industry here before. Are you really building the games primarily for the local market? Or is it kind of like we want to build it for the local market, but we want the whole world to play it?
Yeah. So Bahamut is really focused on the global, and all the games that we are inspired from to make the game was global. And the way we educated to make games, we're not just making it to put culture on it. So we want to make games that are fun. Gaming is a like global language at the end of the day, right? We make the game. I can show you like previous videos of the game. It was just sandboxes and like squares and triangles and whatever, and it was fun. I was playing the triangle game like for hours, yeah, right? I was moving around. I like it and everything, and then it's like on the toppings we have the culture and whatever, so it's not really ruining the experience. And for the global, they want to learn more about the culture, right?
Yeah.
So then I'm gonna pick it up. I want to learn about Saudi. And for the local, we think it's gonna be it's gonna come by itself, because they're gonna see, we are from the pioneers, there isn't that many cultural games or putting those things in the games. Also, it's not many the like mythology that we're talking about in our games, not commonly used or heard of. So we think it might be interesting to see how we can market this in the region, because it's also new here.
And by the way, this is also what I like to remark. It's because there is a lot of myths in the industry that we've seen it from the region I come from, Central Eastern Europe, right? So we have when Western publishers look at the games, whether it was the Witcher series or Kingdom Come Deliverance, which is based on a very specific medieval part of Czech Empire, and all the publishers like, nobody's interested in this medieval Central Europe, like nobody heard about it. Put some Vikings in or something that everybody knows. But founders were obviously knew that there's interest in something fresh and not only those terms of that, and were able to make it a big success. Similar Witcher, which is ultimately a collection of also like a Central Eastern European culture. Also did extremely well globally, because again it was something fresh and new. So we've played the game. We played the Bahamut. It's I think the right I think it also kind of gets the feeling like, first of all, a fun game. Fun, nice looking game, which also gets a bit of a sprinkle of some added cultural value. That it's, again, you could have make it with some well-known IP, but you choose something which again could be fresh. So I think it has a lot going on. So no wonder that it's got attention of the of the judges. So congrats on that side.
Thanks.
And maybe for like a last segment, we touched it a bit. Also, we're interested in, and you've already seen differences like year on year. From the whole industry. So if you could maybe sum up from your point of view, like state now what you think are the strengths of the region, Where do you see Starvania 3, 4, 5 years from now, plus the whole community outside? And what do you think needs to happen, which is not yet? So what's happening, and you think it will be good, and what still needs to happen to make it again a hub, which I think the ambition is our to go forward.
Like for our game, I think like it should get at least enough interest from the publishers. Then we publish on like multiple platforms. I think this would be good to give us some enough money back to the game or investment back in the game, so that we can continue working on more games and making more of what we want. And for the region in general, like what's our strength are, I think the excitement. Like they're really excited, and like sometimes it's like they're overexcited, and then I think this energy should be put into good use and like make more games and make more. Games are fun. We've been playing games all our lives, right? So I think the excitements and the passion. We know we are the biggest in the region, like Saudi. So we have a lot of talents that can, and we know we have a lot of history and culture that can be put into games, and even Western games that like Assassin's Creed, like other Prince of Persia, like they should work with the like locals
to get the proper feeling.
Exactly, and to like properly present it, probably like even localization. Like why not? We've seen it, and with some like Ubisoft doing Prince of Persia, also like many games, they're like the best localization, and I think they should look more into those teams. Like they support us, we can learn more, and then when we learn from them with their games, we can put better content in our games. I think in terms of like workflow, production cycles, etc. And like Saudi, I think in 5 years it's gonna continue growing. I can see that. It's a hope in a very good way, because you don't want it to get overcrowded and people don't know where to go. So getting more publishers, I think is like for me this is what I want most, from outside and also from the inside. But the inside people, they still need to learn how to publish properly and etc. So
with Assassin's Creed and Prince of Persia, you mentioned it would be great if they worked with Saudi Arabian developers. What do you think it would take for a title like that, an IP, to be formed from a Saudi developer specifically? What do you think is missing that you guys need to have in the ecosystem to get there?
So what I would think that we would change, Saudi is very big, and like there's a lot of culture and a lot of different people, and when we localize it, like Saudi people are very, I don't know, I don't want to say it, it might mean bad, but we have the humor, and people, local people, we get each other's humor. I think when we localize these games, especially I played Prince of Persia, the last one, and they actually, funny thing, they mentioned both Bahamut and the Waqwaq Tree, which is in our name title. So it would be so nice that we work with them and in our game and see their perspective into certain things and those mythologies, etc. And like the character that was talking about this, he sounded very sarcastic and like very he was showing off. And I think I even got some voiceovers that were doing some things for Starvania, and they sounded like the same guy. And I think they can mimic him even better if it was localized.
Absolutely.
So, why not, right? So getting to Saudi, I mean, putting some investments from like the global publisher and to discovering these talents or training them or taking some of them outside to train them and then coming from the inside, and they can work with us. Like we would never say no to that.
Thank you very much for that. I think what also I feel that right now there's a critical mass, as you say, of energy of studios, of talent that is putting out the first games. What I think is everybody exciting, especially me, to see as a first this kind of a breakthrough hit locally produced. So we hope that Bahamut could be one of those trailblazers who puts it on the map. We've seen it for, in Poland, like Poland was put on the map with the Witcher series that ended up the president of Poland giving it to the president of the US as a gift. So it's pretty crazy, and started the whole thing. The similar stuff, getting the homegrown hit to put it on a map would be amazing. We wish you a lot of luck. And last but not least, as you mentioned, as a consumer, also as a gamer yourself, you see that still as global games and Western publishers, that even when they touch the region, they still maybe benefit with a bit more collaboration with the locals, so they can get the nuances, whether the humor or the culture or the mythology a bit better, so they could be even more successful over here. So, thanks for coming. Again, congrats on your success.
My
and
pleasure.
not just Muslih won the Game Startup Award, but we hope he's nominated in much of other categories, so he need to get back to the event to collect hopefully more of those on a big indie pitch, and also possibly the audience award. So wish you better luck.
Wishing me luck.
Keep an eye out for Starvania and Muslih. I'm sure these guys will go places.
Like the whole team. You just go to LinkedIn and like the whole team. You can find them at the people. I think a section. Like we're working with amazing people. Like the leads, even like the design lead Ahmed. He's working in France, and he's working in a college at the same time, and he's doing some work for us because he believes in like the region and like the game stuff we're making, and many other on the team. Like right now, I was sharing the award with the team. They were in a stand-up meeting, and I'm like, yo, you guys, you got this, right? We earned it. We couldn't have done it without them, and also like the help of the global and the local entities.
Well, again, thank you for your time. Thanks for coming. And even though you mentioned that this is your first podcast, it looks like you've been podcasting
I think you're doing many more.
your whole life. So I think
I beat myself a little bit. Okay.
You were born for this moment.
Happy to be one of our first batches of the GamePod Summit series. And thanks for coming.
Thanks, my pleasure.
Thank you, Muslih.
Yep.
Cheers, guys.